Hello and welcome back to another Roblox Draw Space speed paint video. That's a mouthful. So I recently did a poll on my YouTube community tab and you guys voted for which Gojo versus Sukuna panel you wanted to see. And of course you guys voted for the craziest double spread, which of course I was like expecting, to be honest. And at first I was like, this is going to be absolutely impossible because of the scale of the double spread and the amount of black that is used in the artwork. I was for sure going to run out of the Roblox drawing part. So, you know, with these games, you can't just draw infinitely. You have like 200,000, which is quite a lot of brush strokes you can use, but nothing above that. So I was certain that I was going to end up maybe finishing the foreground elements and, you know, I could just say goodbye to the background and not have it done because I'll run out of paint at that point. And I miraculously managed to get the whole picture done. And yeah, when I started this process, I was terrified for obvious reasons, especially with Sukuna's like domain expansion temple here. In the beginning of the video, you could see that I went for a really faint line, which was not really that great for viewing experiences, but also for me because it was just not visible. Well, I mean, it was visible, it was just way too thin, especially at the scale I was working at. But yeah, this Sukuna shrine is like absolutely crazy. I was so caught up with this temple, like I erased it, I did it again and erased it again. I was so caught up in that process of getting it just about right that I did a kind of like a little mistake with Gojo, which I never really double checked like at all really. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes actually. So I definitely could have saved a lot more time with just starting with this brush in the first place for the sketching, but it's good to realize that the sketch that you're doing can be moved around a lot. It was still the sketch, you can still change it up and make adjustments. So it turned out to be good practice in the end anyway, except for that Gojo part that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. It's not the most major mistake, but when you see it, like you can't unsee it. When I laid the foundations down for this drawing, I thought it was like pretty much like smooth sailing because I'm just already going into the line work. So before all the detailing, I like to put down all the line work, the necessary line work, so I can go in with all the texturing and the coloring. It took me like one day after to like realize like, yes, the final results were quite nice, but Gojo ended up quite small actually in the final composition. And yeah, I just looked at the initial sketch I did and I was like, yeah, this is fine. Like, this is to scale. And after looking at my final result and then looking back at Gojo, the one that I drew, versus the manga panel reference, I was like, whoa, wait, he's actually kind of small in the drawing that I did, which completely went over my head. So you may have caught that right now. You saw my line work just fade slightly. So I'm like figuring out new things about this game, like every video almost. So in Draw Space, you can actually change the opacity of the line you've already put down. And that's what that 100% slide is you see on the layers tab on the bottom right. So I finally get onto the inking process and I'm working on Sukuna here. If you're an anime only still watching, please do not even begin to question anything that you're seeing here. Please just admire the artwork. So of course the inking process was a lot of fun with that fountain pen tool. I talked about the paint count before. You can see like a number increasing on like the bottom middle right of your screen. It's like out of 200,000. So I was getting pretty worried about how much line I was using. And I was thinking in my head like, I'm just going to get halfway through this and it'll be over before it even finishes. You'll see later on in the video that the sketch line will just disappear at one point. That was just me like preparing for the worst. Like I was definitely going to run out of brush strokes. Like that's what I was feeling, so I was like, okay, time to sacrifice the sketch layer completely. But again, even now, I'm still completely shocked that I was able to pull this off. So for now, enjoy the line work process and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I just had to come in here for a second. This temple line work was absolutely crazy. I was so like mentally drained after just doing the line work and all the skulls and bones and the rib cages on the floor. In my head, I was like, this has to be like a 3D model that has been pictured at a certain angle and someone just put like a filter over it. I could be wrong there. But yeah, whoever did this like background work, this background like artwork for this manga panel, like I don't know how do you even do this like as a drawing? Like it's absolutely crazy. Okay, now you can go back to enjoying the line work process in peace. So we have now made it to the coloring, and I'm just using the pixel art brush tool just to fill in the spaces efficiently. So if you're unaware of what I'm doing here with all this pink, Draw Space has a tool that lets you replace the color of the line that you put down already. So all this pink you're seeing here will all be replaced with black. It's just a really efficient way of separating things from each other. So I do the same thing for the background like way later on. And doing this pink layer process is also really fun at the end when you get to just completely sweep over your whole drawing in the correct color. And just like the line work, I'll leave you for a moment to enjoy the coloring / rendering process here. So I definitely could have just colored his t-shirt black and I didn't have to do the technique thing with the color replacing, but I was just so used to it, and it's just a great way to see if you're going over the lines or not, especially if you're going black on black with color and lining. Draw Space actually has this like cool spray paint tool where you can like put different patterns down, and I was wondering how I would replicate this gray texture or this like screen tone. I'm not even sure if it was screen tone in the actual manga panel itself, but this cross pattern did the job pretty well in the end anyway. Here we are sweeping it all in the correct color palette now. You have to be careful though, because you can easily miss like a little spot. This was a super fun part here with all the pitch black in this like roof area. You can see that the illusion of detail is really working out here, like the end of the wood planks and just going into the black and adding those textures. It's like really cool getting those details seamlessly together now and like blending all the elements together. Look at all those brush strokes I'm using, and look at that paint counter just shooting upwards. I was like, no way this is gonna work out, and it just somehow did. You can just see on the bottom right that number just increasing rapidly. All these extra details that I was adding, and I haven't even touched the background yet. So now true panic sets in here as I move on to the background. There was so much solid color in the background that I was convinced that only half this background was going to be done. You see, I was putting the effort into like going around Gojo's hair, and all that paint I was using, I was so stressed out here. And if you want to chill while watching it, do what you're doing now and chill, or if you want a anxiety-inducing experience, watch the speed paint while also keeping an eye on that paint counter at the same time. And again, I will see you guys in a few minutes. And there you guys have it. Gojo versus Sukuna domain clash. I don't know how I pulled this off, but if you made it this far, I'd appreciate if you like and commented. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.